Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the season review. 8 match weeks in, 8 games played in the Premier League, 3 games in the Europa League, and another 2 in the Carabao Cup. Almost quarter of the stage of the Premier League in the season so far, and I have a very special guest with me. Lee Judges, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good, thank you very much. How are you? You all right?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. I was after the United game, but now
Yeah.
definitely not. So just before we get into the rest of the games, what did you make of the Aston Villa game?
Well, disappointing, I have to say. They get you up, don't they, Arsenal, and give you all hope and thinking that things are going to be good, and then it was crashed straight back down to earth. And let's face it, 3-0 was a touch in the end. I think it could have been more. I think we was thoroughly outplayed from start to finish, outclassed by the team in all departments. We just didn't get it right from the word go, and disappointing all round from the players. I thought the players were poor on the day. Mikel Arteta's got to take the blame as well for the way he set up and the way things went. It was just a disappointing end to a weekend, and now we've got 2 weeks to stew on it, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, heading to the game, what were you expecting from the game? Did you expect this is going to be a 3 points, or did you expect us to have a hard time against them?
Yeah, I expected a tough game. I said before that their midfield was dangerous. I felt like it was a good midfield, and I felt that, McGinn, I don't think gets the credit he deserves. Barkley's a good player, and of course Grealish is a superstar as far as I'm concerned. And they will cause us all problems. We only had 2 in there, but I did think that we'd just probably have enough to get us through. But unfortunately, our front three is not firing for whatever reason, and we just looked disjointed. And I felt that Willian or Aubameyang or Lacazette would be the difference, if I'll be honest. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. And I felt that they're sort of front four, if you like. They're more attacking players with Watkins up front. They just caused us all sort of problems, and they exposed our weaknesses, Glenn. They targeted them. They went down that right hand side, which we've been saying has been weak all season, and it was exposed. And so, yeah, I had high hopes that we would get when you're going and watch the game, I'm looking at it thinking, we can be 2 points off the top there if we win today. So my expectations were quite high, and I think that's why I was disappointed at the end, because they're the games you expect to win. Particularly at home. I expect Arsenal to win every game at home. So if they don't win at home, I'm always a little bit disappointed. But to get humbled like that at home, and the way it was, and the way it all sort of transformed, was very disappointing.
Yeah, what did you make of the centre-back pairing? Because for me, I know a couple of people have said they wanted Luis because of the passing ability and all. But for me, when I saw Holding, I was like, you know what? He played very well against United. There's no need of dropping him after he played probably one of his best performances of recent memory. So were you happy with that, or did you want Luis to start no matter what?
No, I wanted Arsenal to play a 4 at the back, instead of this 3 at the back, playing Holding, Gabriel and Tierney. And it meant that Saka was like as a wing back along, or an inverted fullback as they call it now, with him and Bellerin, whatever that means. But I think when you play a back 3, David Luiz should be in it as far as I'm concerned. I think that he should be automatic choice when it comes to a back 3, but for some unknown reason left him out, and I felt that it didn't work. Holding sums up Arsenal completely. He's like one minute he has a fantastic game, the next he looks like a pub player. Simple as that, and he was all over the place. The first time Grealish got the ball in an attacking area, his first instinct was to drop 20 yards. That tells you everything you want to know about what was going to happen that day. He was frightened of him. Grealish knew it, and he just took advantage of him from the first minute to the last. So, I think if you're going to play back 3, David Luiz has got to come into it. If you're going to play back 2, he's got to find a partner for Gabriel, because as bad as that game was, and that was by the way Gabriel's worst game, he's still the best defender that we've got. He was okay out of the rest of the. Tierney had a bad game. Bellerin defensively was poor, and Holding had a nightmare.
Yeah, so before the season started, Holding was being targeted by Newcastle, and it was, I think, on a loan. So, were you one of those people that wanted him to go, or did you want him to stay?
No, I think that, as I say, he's a bit inconsistent for my liking. I think that if you're going to challenge for titles or challenge to get into the top four, anything like that, then Holding's not good enough, and that's what I feel. I think you've got to be ruthless, and somewhere along the line, you've got to be ruthless. And we've got too many players like that. We've got Chambers, just not quite good enough. Just not quite good enough Holding. I would like to see us bring in another central defender if we're not going to play Saliba. I thought that Saliba would get his opportunities, but if you ever look at it there, we need someone else big and strong as good as Gabriel. You imagine if you got someone like Gabriel on the right-hand side, and then you can play them two as a four, and then like when you go to the big boys, play David Luiz in there as a three, would be very, very strong. So, listen, I've got no problems with Holding being a squad player and coming in, but to be playing week in, week out, not for me.
So in general, the transfer window, I know it's already more than a month since we've signed a couple of players, Willian on as a free, and there are players who wanted to go, like Kolasinac and Mustafi, and we were stuck with them. So out of 10 for the transfer window, what did you make of it out of 10 in general? Buys and sells?
6 or 7. I felt that, great to get in Gabriel. Brilliant signing. Partey looks a player. But we didn't do enough. We needed someone in that attacking third from midfield. We didn't get it. I have to say that, why we didn't go in and get somebody when, we're clearly crying out for that. But I have to say, bringing in those two players is a big, big plus for us going forward. But if you look at it from that point of view, we need another 2 or 3. So every transfer window, if we're going to get 2 or 3, that's not good enough. I look at what Tottenham have done. They went and got 4 or 5. And I think that Arsenal needed a window like that of 4 or 5 players, and then give the tools to Mikel Arteta that he needs for him to go on. You can see with the way Mikel Arteta is setting up that he doesn't trust his defence. That's why he's putting all these players in, and we're very, very defensive. So I think that that's why I feel that it was a good transfer window, because of the likes of Gabriel, who, by the way, has been a magnificent signing for us for the price and everything there. But for me, still a lot more work to be done on the transfer market. And the other thing is, we didn't get rid of any of the players that we wanted to get rid of. We didn't sell any players. We loaned out 2 and sold a goalkeeper that was in top form. So that probably none of us wanted to sell. So, from that point of view, I think a 6.5 was the best I can give it.
We'll come to the tactics later, but one more question on the game. Grealish, of course, he ran around our midfield. He could have scored whenever he wanted. He would have assisted whenever he wanted. So let's say if in that game you had Willian was an Aston Villa player and Grealish was an Arsenal player, do you think we would have won that game? Because looking at this picture, it makes you depressed, because the difference in quality between those two and difference in performance that day. Do you think if Grealish was an Arsenal player that day, we would have won the game?
Yeah. I also think if we've had Grealish this season, we wouldn't be looking at 4 defeats. I think he's that good. He's the player that we need. He's someone that can get the ball in our half and take it to their half. And, we haven't got no one that can do that. He can pass a ball. I think he's got an eye for goal. I think that's the one thing that he probably could improve on, if I'll be honest, is his goal scoring ability. But for me, if he played in the side, we win that game. Even if we had had Barkley in there, someone that just can play from in the lines. He had a very, very good game, by the way. So any one of those 2 players, I think if we'd have had bought a while this season as well, I think we'd have had a few more points on the board. I don't think we'd have lost to Leicester, and I don't think we'd have lost to Aston Villa. So there would have been another 4 points on the board. Another 4 points on the board. So, 6 points on the board. We lost him 2 games, didn't we? So 6 points on the board. So you look at that, we're joint top of the table. We would have been top because Leicester would have dropped 3 points as well. So that's the difference between spending an extra couple of million and not. 6 points. So, unfortunately, the ball, because of their lack of willing to spend money, is going to cost them money at the end of the season. Simple as that.
Yeah, the difference one player can make. You know,
Yeah.
Willian, I wasn't really sad about Willian joining Arsenal, because I know he's going to bring the experience, he's going to bring the winning mentality. He's won a few trophies at Chelsea, whether we like it or not. And his last season, he had a very good season. I think he almost got like almost 20 goals or something, converted the penalty, free kicks, very good from corner kicks. And then all of a sudden he comes to Arsenal and everything falls apart. I don't know why. I felt like, do you think Willian can play for us as a number 10 or as like the Ceballos position?
Yeah, I think that's where maybe he's going to have to go. If we play like a 4-3-3, he could be one that, like, the more advanced one of the three.
Yeah.
I think after this international break, it's a big couple of games for Willian, because I think he's played 8. We've had 8 games now. I think he started 7, and the game that he missed was through injury. So I think it's a big ask for him. He's certainly not playing well at the minute. I don't think the system and the way we're set up is helping any of our attacking players. That's Aubameyang, Lacazette, whoever's been playing up there. So when you've got someone that's coming into the team trying to make things happen, it's even tougher. So I think it's got big decisions from Mikel Arteta to make, and which hopefully will be positive for the likes of Willian and Aubameyang and who's ever playing up front. Pepe as well.
Yeah, thank you for all the questions in the chat. I'll come back to them. So this season in general, we've won 4 games and lost 4. No draws. Last season we had so many draws. We scored 9 and conceded 10. But before the Aston Villa game, we actually had the best defensive record in the league. So how are you looking at it, Lee? Are you looking at it like, which one are you more focused on? The fact that we are not conceding many goals and you're happy with that, or the fact that we are not scoring? Which one are you more focused on?
I think you've got to be happy that we've shored things up a little bit, and we've gone to the likes of Man City, Liverpool, and Manchester United in our away games, and so they're out of the way. Our away form, I've got no problem with the way we set up and play away from home. 4 games, 1-2, lost 2. Most teams I think would expect to lose to Liverpool and Manchester City away from home, so I don't think that there's too bad on that. I think their home form has been poor, not just with the 2 defeats, but also the way we've gone about that. We're very, very fortunate to get a result against West Ham, and we was fortunate to get one against Sheffield United as well. So we've struggled in every home game. We've not looked good. The football's not been good. Entertaining wise, it's been poor. So we need to improve on that. Overall, I think if we'd have beaten Aston Villa, you would turn around and say it's been a good start. I think you'd say that. You'd take the cup competitions we've done well in. You'd have said, you know what, that's a good foundation to push on. Hopefully, get a couple of players in January. It would have been a good start to the season. Defeat now has put us in a precarious position, going into our next 3 games. I think 3 difficult games, to say the least. Leeds away, Wolves at home, and Spurs. 3 in the league, 3 good games, and I think that if it carries on as we're going to be inconsistent, we're not going to get too many points out of these games. So I think it's been an okay start, but I think if we'd have won our 2 home games, you'd be saying it's a very, very good start. So it's thin lines, but at this moment in time, it's been not too bad, not too bad.
So at this same stage last season, because there's been very many comparisons of Emery and Arteta, at the same stage last season, we had 15 points from the opening 8 games. We had scored 13 goals more than we have, 4 goals more than we have this season, and we had conceded 11, 1 more than we have this season. So I don't know. Do you look at it? Do you compare the both of them, Emery and Arteta? Because to be honest, we had a better start last season than this season. But last season we did lose the same kind of games, City, Liverpool.
Yeah, well, I think we'd have already played Liverpool away, hadn't we, by then? It was in the first few games. But I don't think we played Man City away or Manchester United away by this time. So, you can take it and compare. It's very difficult because you know, like we played Leicester, who are top of the league as well. You know, so we played some tough games. You know, let's not beat around the bush. Villa are a very good side as well. You know, Villa ain't the side they were last year, so it's very hard to compare and look to compare what we have last season. What I would say is that we've looked better going defensively, but I think from an attacking point of view, we've dropped down a level. I'll be honest, it's not looking good, and we need to rectify that ASAP.
Yeah, another guy. Aubameyang has only scored is it 3 goals this season or 2 probably?
2.
Last season,
yeah,
plus the Europa League one that was against
yeah.
Rapid Vienna. In Premier League 2, last season he had already scored 7. At this stage, he had already got a goal against Tottenham, a double against Watford, a goal against United. So that brings me to the question I saw in the chat. Lee, is it true if Oba plays on the left again, you're Arteta out? HJ90 asks.
I didn't actually say I wanted him out. Like, you know, I mean, Lee Gunner has done me no service there by just putting a little clip up of it. What I said is, and I stand by this, is it's okay playing Aubameyang down the left if you've got quality in the middle and things are happening in the middle, then it's okay. As I said after that statement, I said if Eva's on the left, then I'll maybe Pepe down the middle or something. He's got to change it up. And if it means what I will say, I'm not saying I want him out, but massive question marks will be asked if we go into the next game and that's the same 3 up front. I would not be happy with it. You know, it's not working, and he needs to change it. And I certainly would be losing faith in it. I think that the trouble that I've got at the moment with Mikel Arteta is that I'm trying to defend him, and people are throwing questions at me and going, well, what about this and what about that? And I'm finding it harder and harder to defend him. But what I will say is whatever goes on, and I said this yesterday as well, that by winning the FA Cup and the Community Shield, more so the FA Cup, he has a bit of credit in the bank to make things happen. And but like I said yesterday, and I say it now on here, you know, if he loses the next 3 games and then loses to Tottenham, he's going to be under immense pressure, you know. So he needs to get it right, and he needs to put it right against Leeds. Simple as that. It doesn't matter. Go on, sorry.
So in the first, when you saw the fixture list 2 months ago, from those 8 games that we've played, how many points were you expecting? Fulham away, West Ham at home, Sheffield at home, Leicester at home, some really winnable games at home. How many points were you expecting from the available? Yeah,
that's it. I expect us to win all 4 games at home. Which we had, which would have been okay, and then I would have said we lose to Liverpool, lose to
City,
Man City, and Man United, and beat Fulham. So from that point of view, we've beaten Man United away. So I would look at it and say that we're 3 points off of what I would have expected this time around. So we'd have been on about 15 points, 3 points off of the top going into this international break. I think would have been a very, very good start, you know. So we're only 3 points off of what I thought that we would be, but it's, you know, like, it's disappointing when you go away and beat Man United and then you can't win a home game. I think that, you know, it just knocks your confidence a little bit. So I don't. That's what I'm saying. It's not all doom and gloom at the minute from that point of view. But what I am worried about is the style of play. It's you know, I can't see us winning that many home games playing the way we are. I really do. You know, we've struggled against West Ham, but let's face it, West Ham have been a lot better this season. But Sheffield United down the bottom, and Fulham are our other 2 wins, and you look at that and you think that really they're 2 teams that I think are probably going to get relegated. You know, so well, at the minute Sheffield United probably might have enough to get, but they're going to be struggling this season. So they're games you should be expecting to win, but we're struggling. Well, you know, there are times when you watch Arsenal, as bad as it's been in the past, you know, we come up against teams and give teams a good idea. I can't see us giving anybody a good idea at the moment. I really can't.
Yeah, I was actually asking is there a way we can get Wenger back for the home games and Arteta for the away games? I was looking at the stats. From the last international break, we basically haven't scored a goal. We've scored one goal, and that was a penalty against United. So from the last international break, in the Premier League, we have not scored a goal. 1-0 away against Leicester, 1-0 against United. We lost to City 1-0 and lost 3-0. So basically, we have not scored any goal. And a couple of them have been through set pieces, even in the Europa League, Louis' head and stuff like that. So what about the style of play? What needs to be done? Because I actually saw someone saying, even if we play Aubameyang up front, we'll still struggle for goals because of the way we transition, like so slowly from the back, passing sideways. Will you get as many chances as Lacazette is getting right now?
Yeah, that's the problem. So I think that we've done, like, with Mikel Arteta, I think that it's, where I've said that he's done well, and I'm really pleased with him, and said that he's a fantastic coach and all that, is in the away games, the tactics away from home. It was a masterclass at the FA Cup final and semi-final, how he played against the big teams. That was great, and he does that really well. But so it's a two-part thing. He's doing really well in that. But when it comes to home, we're not doing it, and the entertaining side and the style of football is poor. People are coming up and saying to me today, Mikel Pulis or Mikel Allardyce and things like that, and you can't really defend that. Like, I don't care how we set up away from home, and if that means defending like with the extra men in defence, I got no problem with that, because teams do that to us all the time, and the great Man United side in the past have done that to us, and then it's on the break. So I don't mind that, but when you're at home, the emphasis is on you to attack. The emphasis is on you to entertain the fans, particularly because, like the prices at the Emirates are very, very high. And I think that at this moment in time, Mikel Arteta is getting away with it a little bit, because there's no fans at home, so there's no pressure coming onto him because of that, because of the style of football. Now he needs to change that. Now, if he changes that, I'm going to say, right, okay, fantastic. And like, why people are criticising him, and I'm not criticising, I'm questioning what he's doing at this moment in time. But if come the next home game, if he goes 4-3-3 and we blow away Wolves, I will turn around and say, well done, Mikel, you've looked at it and got it right. Now, people are criticising Mikel Arteta. He's criticised himself this week. He's come out and said himself, it wasn't good enough. I've made mistakes. So if the manager's coming out and saying that I've made mistakes, it's fair enough to say that the fans are going to as well. But at this moment in time, look, as I said, it ain't all doom and gloom with him. But the style of football's got to change. The style of football that he is not working. I think he's far too cautious. He's worried about losing more than he is winning. And listen, teams can play this sort of style of football, and if we're winning 1-0, 1-0, and we're getting results, people will go, yeah, we'll get on board with it. But when you're playing this style of football and not winning, questions are going to be asked, and that's what's happening at the minute.
To me, it's looking like, yes, we are heading into games looking to keep the score at 0 for the opposition, and the moment they score, we have no plan B. We are like, okay, they've scored. What do we need to do next? And it's very worrying. Next games, we have Leeds away, Wolves at home, Tottenham away. We have Burnley at home and Southampton at home. And you can easily see us struggling at home to Burnley and Southampton, and maybe even getting a result away to Tottenham. Like, from those 5 games, Leeds away, Wolves home, Tottenham away, Burnley home, Southampton home, what will you be expecting from that?
Well, as I say, I think that against Leeds, I expect a cagey affair. I know that they're going to come on, and I think that if Leeds come gunning at us like they have done in the past, we've got players that can pick them off. That suit our game. The home games are your bread and butter games. That's where you pick up your most points, and we're not doing that at the moment. So Wolves will be a tough game because they're very much of a counter-attacking team, organised, and it's on the break. So that'll be a difficult game. The Spurs game, I see us setting up exactly like we did against Man United, and hopefully taking our chances and getting that one. They're as vulnerable on the counter attack as any team that I've seen. So that'd be interesting to see how they go there. I think Mourinho will like Arsenal to come onto him so they can hit us. So I think the next 2 games, forget about the Spurs game, because that'll take care of itself. I think that we've got, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta sets up with a 3 again against Leeds. But when it comes to that, and hopefully get a result. But then when he comes against Wolves, he's got to get the result at home. He's got to start winning his home games. And I think he's got to change the style and a little bit of the personnel. And I think that we could go into those 2 games and be okay if he changes the style. If he carries on going as he is with the system and the style at the moment, we're in for a pretty poor season. And I feel that we won't be getting any points from the next 3. So that's how important I think it is that we have a little change up of style and personnel.
The funny thing is, before Leicester lost at home, we were unbeaten at home for the whole year. So I don't know what went wrong. We were scoring goals, 4 against Newcastle. I remember us beating West Ham last season. United came to our place, we won. FPL Focus asks thoughts on Partey. Basically, when Partey went off, do you think that changed the game against Villa? Who do you think should have, like, Ceballos or Xhaka?
I think maybe he could have, if in hindsight, you'd probably say Xhaka now, wouldn't you? Because we got beat. But I think the worrying thing is when Partey went off, we sort of the wheels come off a little bit. And when we went a little bit, we took off Lacazette and then we took off Willian, and then we ended up like capitulating, So I think losing Partey, hopefully it's not too bad. I think that he was superb in the games that he's played. But you have to look at with Partey, and someone reminded me this the other day that he's played 4 games for Arsenal in the league, and he's lost 3. So it's not just about Partey. He's a good player, but we need other players to perform around him as well. So I think that when he went off on Sunday, I think the team deflated a little bit as well. Ceballos, to be fair, come on and done well for about 10-15 minutes, but as soon as they got the second goal, he was just, you didn't hear him after that, and I think that with Ceballos, he's trying to make things happen far too deep for me. I think we've got to push a lot further up and get his creativity in the final third.
This is Lucas Live says talks about Arteta. I feel Arteta out because he's playing players out of position and he's starting to play the likes of Willian and Lacazette. He needs to play Aubameyang down the middle, Saka left, Pepe right. The thing with Pepe, before he started scoring goals in the last couple of weeks, I didn't think he was doing any better either. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, listen, I think that any Arsenal fan comes on here and watches the Arsenal or whatever at this moment in time would be having to say that Pepe has been a big disappointment. £72 million. He's just not really performed enough. There's been glimpses. And you think, right, this is his time, but I do feel that he deserves a little bit better game time. I think that, for some unknown reason, Willian is being preferred to him. I don't get that. I don't think that he's deserved that. But I think now is the time for Pepe for Arteta to say, right, Pepe, this is your time. But then he's got to step up. Then you've got to say, right, I'm giving you these games, and you've got to step up. And I think there are times you're dead right. He hasn't stepped up. So, but nor has any of them. So I think it's we can get onto the manager as well, but I think you also got to have a look at the players. They're not safe in this as well. I think that they've let down us fans over the last few seasons. If I'll be honest,
Yeah. So let me see more comments. Luca asks question for Lee. Since Arteta suffered 4 defeats in 8 games, do you feel Arteta is the right man for the job to get us back in the top 4? And if you don't get top 4, is he out?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Listen, as I say, we're only 6 points off the top. Okay, we sack Arteta. That's fair enough. Get rid of him. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to bring in? Who's the elite manager that you're going to bring in? And then you've all got to start again. So I don't think it's the right time to be talking about Arteta going. I can see why people are starting to go down that route. I can see why. Yeah. But I think let's have a little bit of patience. Let's see what he does over his next 3 games. What I don't like about Arsenal fans at the moment is that, you know, people are seemingly, I'm not saying that they are, it seems like they're wanting Arsenal to fail so that they can, you know, bash the Arteta brush, which I don't think is quite fair. But, you know, changing a manager doesn't necessarily always bring success, you know. Well, it certainly hasn't done with us. Let's be honest, you know. So, if I was to, it's a different. If the club come to me now and said, look, get rid of Arteta and bring in Pochettino, you know, I don't know so much there. And, you know, you look at Ancelotti at Everton, he's struggling a little bit now. Why is he struggling? Because he hasn't got the players. And I think that's the thing. I think we're bashing Arteta at this moment in time, but he's not got the players that he wants in at the moment. So I think that, I know it's tough, and it's going to be a tough season for us, but I do feel that we should stay patient, see what he does first and foremost, and, you know, give him the opportunity to change things around. And you never know, like this might be a blessing in disguise, this game, because, you know, he can't turn around and say that everything's rosy, you know. So he knows, I think he knows he's got to change things, and if he changes things around, who knows, we could be okay.
Yeah, last season Emery won his 8th game in the season, and he never won another Premier League game for Arsenal. I think for the next 7 games he never won anything. So
well, I think,
I'll
be honest, if Arteta goes down that route, he's going to be struggling. Like come Christmas time, you know, if we're in 8th or 9th, and we're got no chance of getting to the top 4, then maybe. But then I would say just look at Man United last season. They was, you know, drifting. Looked like they weren't going to get in. They signed Fernandes and he gave them the boost that they needed, and look at the run they went on. So if come January Arsenal give him a while or put somebody in, then I think that then we're in with a position. But listen, if come January and the club are not going to back Arteta, can you really blame him for it there? I get, you know, he's making mistakes and all that, but if he hasn't got the players, you can see the way that he is at the minute with his system. He's more worried. He doesn't trust. He doesn't trust his defenders. It's as simple as that. That's why he's putting up this defensive system. Let's let him get in the defenders that he feels that he can be safe with, and let's see what happens. I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's boring, it's flat at the moment, but I think it's a little bit too harsh to be saying get rid of him at this moment in time.
Glad you brought up the Pochettino coaching staff. If Guardiola's the coach right now with the same players, or let's say the Atalanta coach, those coaches who play attacking football, the Leipzig coach, do you think would have been better off, like style of play and scoring more goals? Because the defenders are still the same defenders. I can't even blame him for wanting to put 7 defenders because all of them are awful.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think that, you know, I think there's 2 ways a manager can go about it. He can be really offensive or really defensive. At this moment in time, Arteta is gone defensive, but he's got to get the balance right. And you know, I think that's what he's trying to do at this moment in time. You know, the defensive side of the game, you've got to be pleased with it. Okay, we've conceded 3 on Sunday, but before that, it looks a lot better. And you know, to go, you know, to places like Man City and not be 3 or 4-0 down after 20 minutes, you know, you have to look at it as a positive. So I think that's his problem at the moment, getting the balance. I think he's too defensive, and I think that I don't, you know, it's a little bit there. And I get that, you know, people are saying in the chat they're unsure about Mikel Arteta at the moment, and you can understand that, you know what I mean? I get that. I get that what people are starting to be a little bit worried and asking questions, because I'm asking questions about him now. I think there is a lot of things that are, you know, that I'm questioning him on at the moment, and he's not getting right. So, but he's also a very, very young manager that they've put in charge of Arsenal. Maybe, listen, I think it's a massive job. Maybe it is too big for him. But I think it'd be too big for anybody at this moment in time. I don't think there's many managers that will be able to handle what he's handling. And, you know, and with all what's going on, you know, with all the COVID stuff, the Mesut Ozil thing, so a lot to put on a manager and an experienced one at that, even tougher.
And it's not just predictable in the sense of playing defensively. Do you think we always use the left side to attack every time?
Yeah, I think I think it's fantastic, our left side. It's been Tierney, Saka have done really, really well in there, and Aubameyang, it's looked very, very good. But we're too weak on the right-hand side. We're weak defensively and weak attacking-wise, you know. Listen, Aston Villa's strength was down the left-hand side. They use it all the time, so let's not criticise it. You know, if it's working, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And that's how I see. But I just feel that we need to. I think Mari not playing is a big blow because we could have actually put him slide into the free. Then that would make Tierney go into a wing back sort of role, which I think suits him more. And then we could get Saka further forward. So you know, there are a couple of players still to come back into this team, and I think that. And that's another thing, you know, we've got Mari, we've got Martinelli to come back into this team yet, in this squad. And when these two guys come back, that will help us as well, you know. So, as I say, I get what everybody's saying. It's interesting that things are starting to creep up and putting a little bit of pressure on on Mikel Arteta. But will I fit Martinelli into the starting lineup? 100%. Twice the player that.
And how do you fit Saka? How do you fit Saka and Martinelli? They're playing in the same position, kind of.
Well, I think if you go 4-3-3, you put Martinelli up down the left-hand side, Aubameyang and Pepe and whoever like there, and then you've got the choice then of putting Saka either as just in the midfield three. And if you want, you could put and Pepe ain't doing the business, or any of them ain't doing the business. You can put Saka into a more advanced role. But I think that Saka, I think, is the one player that tries to give us a little bit of creativity. So I feel that I think that he needs to be in the side. But I think also then we're relying on him a little bit too much. There's been a bit too much reliability put on his shoulders. You know, he's 19. Same as Martinelli. I think that when Martinelli comes back, I think everybody is looking forward to that, and hopefully won't put too much pressure on him.
Yeah, so let's say you're to have a meeting with Arteta right now today. What would you tell him? What would you tell him he should do in the next few games?
Trust his defenders, trust his back line, put an extra man in midfield, and play Aubameyang down the middle for a few games. See what we can do with that. Like, you know, play the proper players in their proper places, and see what happens. I think that, and then when you play them in those front three roles, let's not be having Lacazette, which has been happening, like asking that player to drop into the defence, to drop into an extra man, which I don't think has helped Mikel Arteta out. Has that helped Lacazette out in any shape or form? So get the players in, defend properly, and let the players up front play well and do what they have to do.
Cookie says he wanted Cavani. Would you have sold Lacazette over the summer because he was being linked away?
I would have, and someone like a Cavani, or I want someone like that, a big, more of a powerful centre forward would have been. You know, Ollie Watkins up front is the sort of player that we need. I know that people were saying we come from Brentford, but we need somebody like that holds the ball up, can run in the channels. I think that Lacazette has just lost a bit of his pace and power. So I think that we need to get someone that can be a little bit more of a target man in there. And I think that I would have sold. For me, I would have sold probably Lacazette and got Zaha. That's who I would have, gone for. Then you can put Aubameyang down the middle, Zaha on the left, Pepe on the right, or Martinelli, and we'd be in the Champions League.
Yeah, Jubari, thank you for your comment. Asks opinions on Ateta's man management, Guendouzi, Torreira, Ozil, Pepe, Saliba. You know, I had an opinion which I also had you said about these players being Emre signings. I actually feel maybe he does not want these players, Pepe,
Yeah,
Saliba, all Emre signings. So is he being too harsh?
yeah, I think he is. I think that like, listen, Guendouzi, I didn't think did that much wrong. You know what I mean? If he was being a bit of a naughty boy against Brighton, so what?
Mhm.
I don't care about that. Torreira, I don't think was quite suited to the Premiership. But did he do anything wrong? Was he? Did he? I see him giving his all for Arsenal every
Mhm.
game. The one with Saliba is making no sense to me because you've got the guy that played alongside him last season tearing it up for Leicester. So
Mhm.
why is Saliba not tearing it up for Arsenal? They're the same age.
Yeah.
So I feel that there's question marks there. I think there's lots of little question marks on these players, and as you say, they're not being signed by Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
So and then you look at someone like Willian that has done absolutely nothing, and he seems to be getting the arm around his shoulder and the confidence to be being told to play every week.
Yeah.
That can lead to a little bit of unrest. I think this is a real difficult time for Mikel. He's got to really sort it out now. He's got to. This is where his man management's got to come into play, and
Mhm.
people have been questioning that. And we will see over the next couple of weeks. It's a massive couple of weeks this
Yeah.
for Arsenal and for the manager.
Yeah. Cookie says we are passed back to the goalkeeper FC. So if you talked to us and you told him that, would you still ask him to remain with the same tactics of play from the back? Because when it works, it looks good. When it doesn't, it looks very, very bad.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I've got no problem with us passing through the back, but then we get to midfield and then it just stops, doesn't it?
Mm,
How many times yesterday on Sunday did we get the ball in? Like the third of our box or whatever,
yeah.
clip it long and no one there. You know,
Yeah.
because we're all like defending. This is the trouble. We're set up in a system that's set up not to lose games, and unfortunately, because we're not quite good enough, we are losing these games. So I think that these are things that have got to happen, and as I say, he's going to have to sort it out quickly.
Yeah. Farhan asks how long is Party out for? I'm not quite sure, but let's say Lee is out for like a month or 2 months. What do we do with our midfield? Are we back to Shaq and Sabias again?
Well, we'd have to. That's the way we'd have to go, wouldn't it? Like I don't think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, for a couple of months. So I think it'd be a couple of weeks. I think, but yeah, I think that Shaka's done okay for us, but not been fantastic. But listen, Shaka's done well for us in the past under Mikel Arteta and played well in the cup semi-final and final. So yeah,
Mhm.
we'd have to go back to that. The tried and trusted, as they say.
Yeah, EGTV asks, do you feel like some of these people who say Atita out are reactionary?
Uh, yeah, I get that, but I do. I understand the questions that they're asking. I really do. I think that to be calling for his head is a little bit too. As I said, I think he's got credit in the bank. I think that he deserves at least another transfer window, definitely to January, to the next transfer window. Listen, I think that I'll say it now. If we're in the same sort of position this time next year, then I think that that everybody's got the right to say it. Then I really do. I think that it deserves a little bit more time at this moment in time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Cookie gives us his pro starting lineup. That's what I wanted to come to next and last. And I had two lineups that I want us to put. Let me know if you're going to agree with it. The first one is at home, and the other one is away from home, like against Tottenham, Liverpool. So I'll start with the one at home. Would you be happy with this lineup at home? Is there any kind of change you'd make?
No, I'd be more than happy with that. I think I do feel that Maitland-Niles probably deserves a chance with Bellerin, but Bellerin hasn't done too bad. I, I,
Yeah.
I think that maybe Xhaka instead of El Neni is maybe I'd go down that route. But El Neni's
Hmm.
done nothing wrong. But I would that sort of system, I think, is what we that if he put out that team next home game against Wolves and it failed, we've got massive problems. Massive problems. Because you're looking at it and thinking, well, he's doing everything that we're asking him to do, and it's still not quite good enough. So, I wouldn't be that. The front three that you've got up there is the front three that I want to see in the next home game.
Yeah, and how about Willock? Can't Willock get even a position on the bench? Because looking at that bench, I don't know where would fit him.
Yeah, that is a difficult one to do. I think that you look at that midfield. I think if you've got Lacazette and Eddie on there, you could perhaps sacrifice one of them for a Willock. But this is the trouble. It is a difficult one to do there. I'd probably like sacrifice. If you're going to bring on somebody, you'd probably bring on Lacazette. Do you need to bring on two forwards? So sometimes you do, but maybe Willock for one of them two, maybe.
And let's go to the one away from home. How about away from home? For me, I know I've included Tierney as a centre back here, but is there no way we can have Gabriel Holding and Luis and have Tierney still as a left wing back bombing forward?
Well, this is the thing. I think that this is where we need it. For me, that would be perfect if you had Mari in there now to come in there. You would have. I'd have that, and then you've got like Tierney going into the Maitland-Niles position. So, and I think away from home that would Partey and El Neni, shielding the back, the back there, and then you got Saka and Aubameyang and Pepe to make things happen. Again, I wouldn't be disappointed with that with that team against Leeds and Tottenham away from home. If I'll be fair, that's the sort of thing we're going to have to do, and I think that's okay. You should be a manager.
I think I should. I think I can do a better job right now. I think I can do a better job. FPL Focus also said Lacazette fouls too much. I think that is also another problem, not just missing chances. I think he fouls too many times.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for Lacazette. I feel that he's, if you're a forward, he's being asked to drop into midfield, trying to pick up the extra man in midfield, working hard and everything like that. And then he's expected to get up into the box. And then when he's done all of that work and he's run 70 yards to get into the box, he's expected to score. It's a lot putting on it, So I do feel that he's being asked to tackle back, trying to get. I think he's, being given a little bit of a raw deal by the way he's being asked to play. And I'm not making excuses for him, he should have took the chance on Sunday, but I think that it's been a little bit harsh. Let him play up front. If you're going to play him, let him play up front and do the job that he should be doing.
Do you think he can play as a number 10 or as a 2 with Aubameyang up front, 4-4-2?
Yeah, listen, I think he could do that, but for me, I think there's better players that can do that role, if I'll be honest. I think you're right what you said earlier on. Willian can do that, Ceballos can do that, and Willock can do that, and I think they'll probably do it better than him. That's my personal opinion. Yeah,
there's no guarantee that if Lacazette gets dropped, Aubameyang plays up front, because you saw against City, Aubameyang played on the left and Willian as a striker.
Yeah, listen,
I don't know what you mean of that.
100%, and this is where I will start to get the ump with Arteta if come against Leeds and it's Eddie up front, because Eddie or Lacazette ain't good enough. That's my opinion, So it will be very, very interesting to see what he does. I have this feeling that Aubameyang will be back on the left hand side, but if you put Pepe down there. Or Saka in, then on the right or whatever, then maybe I'm But listen, we played Leicester and Aubameyang played out on the right, and we had Willian, in a false nine. These are the sort of mistakes which are starting to get fans to doubt. You know what I mean? So it seems to me everything but Aubameyang down there. So. Perhaps we should start saying drop Aubameyang and he might put him down there or something. You know, he just seems a little bit stubborn about it, which is I don't understand.
Yeah, Cookie says Saliba over Luiz and Ainsley over Bellerin. So 2 questions from that. What have you made of Saliba not getting a chance? And do you think Ainsley is good enough ahead of Bellerin?
I think that they deserve it. It deserves a chance. Maitland-Niles. I've said it earlier on. What's the point of why didn't we sell him to Wolves? Why didn't we sell him to Wolves and go and buy Aouar if you're not going to be playing him? You know, and at this moment in time, he's a bit part player. Why we might as well have took the 20 million and put that money towards Aouar. You know what I mean? So I don't see why we didn't sell him if that's the case. So I feel that he deserves a chance from that point of view. I totally agree with the Saliba one. I think that, you know, we're seeing mistakes from Mustafi, we're seeing mistakes from Holding, and we're seeing mistakes from David Luiz. But if we've got this kid that's going to come in at 19, he's going to make mistakes, but he's going to be better for the future in the long term. So for me, I don't understand it. I think it's a poor decision not to have him involved. He should be at least involved in the Europa League. I think it's another mistake from the coach, and this is what I'm saying. These mistakes are adding up now, aren't they?
Yeah, too many. So
too many.
Ainsley over Bellerin?
I think that I would. I said that earlier on. I feel that he deserves a chance. I don't think Bellerin has been that bad this season, if I'll be honest. But defensively, not for me. You know, like got bullied by Grealish yesterday. Look, many team players will, but you know, we're Arsenal Football Club. Should a right back be bullied and pushed about like he was? Not for me.
Yeah, not Lauren or Dixon. Last couple of questions. Who has been your best player so far for us this season? Like 2 players who've stood out for you.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, Gabriel been absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I think that he's been the standout. I would then say, apart from the poor game yesterday, Tierney has been the two for me.
I thought Tierney was actually very good in the first half, like kind of an attacking outlet for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think he was that bad on Sunday. It was probably his worst game. So that just shows you, you know what I mean? I think he's been a very, very good signing for us. I like him a lot. I like his attacking stuff. I think that maybe he ain't helping him playing wing back, and then playing like left back, and then playing in a back three. But I think that he's done very, very well. But for me, Gabriel, the standout, absolute standout for me. The best defender that we get, again, another mistake by Mikel for leaving him out against Liverpool. Another baffling decision, you know. But for me, Gabriel's been the standout player.
And which 3 players need to show more from now on, or else you're about to give up on them?
Pepe has got. I wouldn't say give up on him, but this is now. Pepe has got to come back from his international break and start to earn his stripes. He has got to start putting in £72 million worth of performances for me. Yeah. Willian's got to step up to the plate. And I'm going to say it now, Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang's got to be a little bit more than what I've seen from him. So they're the 3, you know, like those front 3 as far as I'm concerned. Step up.
If everyone is fit, what would be your starting lineup? Of course, Leno in goal. Of course, you'd have Tierney on the left, I imagine. Aubameyang up front, and then how about the centre back positions? Who would you have there?
I'm going to go with it now and go with Gabriel. If he's back fit, Mari. I'd take Mari and Gabriel, even though they're 2 left-sided players. Mari done very well when he came into the side. Listen, Arsenal were a very, very good side with Keown and Adams, both right-footed. So when they're both left-footed, it ain't a problem for me. I'll put them 2 in there. If not, I'm going to say it. Let's give Saliba a go. I'd rather go with Saliba. I think that Maitland-Niles, I'm going to give him a chance at right back to make things happen. And I'm going to be really honest, if he continues to show the inept performances that he has done in the past, then sell him in January to get somebody else. My midfield 2 would be Partey and Xhaka, and in front of them would be Ceballos, and then my front 3 would be Saka, Aubameyang, and Pepe.
Wow. So, but you'd put El Neni in the tough away games, though.
Yeah, I would shore it up with. I would actually change it in a when we go away when we would go. I would go with the three at the back and play the same system and style that won us the semi-final in the FA Cup, and I'd put a back three, two strong midfield players in there, and go with the wing backs, and then the three up top.
With all that said, you're still in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. You're still doing well in the Europa League, 6 points off the top in the Premier League. So what would be a good season for you? Like from now on, like what would be a good season?
Well, listen, to get into the top four, I think would be a fantastic achievement for the team. I don't think that we will, but I think that I think that would be the best that we could hope for. Obviously, the dream would be to win the Europa League. That means that we get into the Champions League, but that's again going to be tough because I see someone like PSG dropping down in that, and then come January be a different animal because their buy players in January would be completely different. So I think to win the Europa League is going to be very, very tough. Do you know what? I think we've done exceptionally well in the Carabao Cup to get to beat Leicester and Liverpool, and then get Manchester City, which is the toughest one of all. You know what I mean? So not been nice to us, not been kind to us there. You have a look at there was a few easier draws to be made there, but we're home in that, so we'll have to wait and see on that. A good FA Cup run, would be nice as well. But I don't think we'll get top four, if I'll be honest. But I think that that would be the aim for me. If we got top four at the end of the season, I'd be more than happy with our season. More than happy.
And finally, last question: if you were to buy a player in January, who would you buy?
If I had the choice and I had £80 million, I'd go for Grealish, but we're not gonna go there, unfortunately. So I feel that to bring in a while, somebody said in the chat that he didn't want to come to Arsenal. We don't know if that's true or not. If it's the case and he didn't want to come, then fair enough. But if we can get him, that's who I'd go for. And then I would, if he's not going to play Saliba, let's get him out on loan and bring in another central defender and really go, hopefully go for it. And I think that with a couple of those players, with two players there, I think that we'd have a really good chance. Especially with Martinelli coming back as well. Yeah,
it's sad that we had to go into the international break with such a heavy defeat, but let's see how we do after the international break. I hope everything works out. Thank you very much, Lee, for coming on. Hope to have you again.
Pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone in the chat for coming on, all your questions. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And shout out to Lee for coming on. Let's hope we have a better season from after the international break. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.